Hi everyone, my name's Laura and you're watching the Carpe Diem Stitcher. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're an existing subscriber or you've watched me before. So today's video is just going to be a quick one. It's going to be a review of my latest make, which I'm actually wearing, which are the women's full-length jumpsuit. I think we'd call them dungarees in the UK. Which is a free pattern from a website called A Life So Savory, and I'll pop the link down in the notes. So if you watched my So Frugal 23 plans video, you'll know that this is actually one of the patterns that I picked out at the time and said that I might like to make. But then I showed you a couple of fabrics. One was a kind of butterfly pattern chambray, and the other one was like a batik, a blue batik with sort of firework designs on it. And I couldn't quite reconcile myself to making the jumpsuit out of either of those, so I didn't make it then. But then when I was making Steve's Minions shorts for So Yellow for Endo, and I'll pop the link to that video down below as well, we realised that the Minions fabric needed lining. So off I went to my local fabric shop in South Wales to see if they got any yellow lining fabric for the shorts, because originally I'd only bought enough to make pocket linings, didn't realise it wasn't the whole pair of shorts. And yeah, they did. So I got the yellow fabric, and just as I was getting ready to pay, I spotted this, and it is a lightweight denim fabric, and it's this kind of tie-dye pattern. I'll pop some photos in to show you, but you can see it's kind of this sort of denim colour, and then sort of whitish stonewash-ish tie-dye fabric. And I thought immediately of the dungarees pattern, so I bought some. So it's not a So Frugal 23 make, A, because I didn't make it in March, and B, because I bought the fabric, but it is a free pattern and I think it's a goodie, so I thought I'd come on and tell you all about it. So I think that this pattern is not dissimilar, certainly at kind of first glance, to the Heyday Dungarees pattern by Waves and Wild. Although when you look closely, for example, the pocket on this, if I just stand up again, I will put some photos in, but it's a rectangular pocket and it's quite short, whereas the Waves and Wild one is a more traditional front pocket. So there is that as a difference, but it's not that different. And certainly I think for me, I'd be quite happy just tweaking this pattern rather than necessarily getting the Waves and Wild one at this stage. I've got other dungaree patterns that I'd like to give a try to. So I've got the Myla dungarees from Tilly and the Buttons, and I've got the free extension pack that goes with it, so I'm going to try that. And I've got another one by, why can't I remember, Victory Patterns. I've got another pattern which is dungarees and also trousers, so I'll probably try that one as well. But yeah, I really like this pattern, so I'll pop the link to the website down below, as I've said. And what you do is you download the pattern pieces, and it doesn't come in A0, unfortunately, so you have to print off the individual pieces of paper, stick them together. I think in A4 it's something like 32 pieces, but it wasn't too bad to stick together because you've not got an enormous number of pattern pieces. You've got what have you got? You've got the fronts, the backs, and then you've got these ties and the smaller strap bits to put them through, and then the 3 pockets, because it's got the pocket here that I've shown you, and then it's got 2 pockets on the front as well, which I'll talk a bit more about in a minute. But yeah, it was fine, didn't take too long. And when I cut out the paper pattern, I tried something that I'd seen. I can't even remember where I saw it, but someone somewhere had suggested that a really quick way to cut out paper patterns is to put an old rotary cutter blade in your rotary cutter and use that. And I did that, and my goodness, did it speed it up. It was brilliant. It was much quicker than scissors. Whether I'd do it for something that had a huge amount of detail on it, I don't know, but just for whizzing them down, you know, wide leg dungarees, brilliant. So that was really quick. And had I not been, when did I start these? I might have started these on the bank holiday Monday, and I was working on the Tuesday. And had I not been, I think I would have finished them really easily. So I did a bit Tuesday night and finished them pretty much on Wednesday morning. And yeah, really easy pattern instructions to follow. I didn't print them off. They've got photographs showing what you need to do, and I think they're really clear because they even go to the extent of doing things like telling you when to finish seams, which frankly not all paid patterns do. And I really liked the way that the instructions for the pocket placement were given, because instead of having dots on the patterns and then having to line them up with bits on the pocket like you sometimes get, it just said measure 5 inches down from the top of the bib, and or was it 3 inches? I think it's 3 inches down, and that's where your top pocket goes, and then your bottom pockets go 5 inches down and so far in from the side of the front, and that's where your pocket goes. So what it does mean is make sure that you do the things more or less in the order it tells you to do, because otherwise your measurements will be out. But I thought it was great. There was no messing about. You just get your ruler and measure it and off you go. So I was really pleased with it. Found it really easy to sew. The pockets are not necessarily that useful. So for example, this top pocket, if I put my mobile phone in, it'll stand up so you can see. It's okay, but it kind of doesn't feel like, I know it's made in a light fabric, and I think if it was made in a heavier fabric it might be a bit different, but it doesn't really go that well. And if I put it in the side pocket, it's okay if you're walking along, but if you sit down it's a bit uncomfortable and a bit awkward. So what I might do is put a pocket on the back, because I've got enough fabric to do that. So I might do that at some point if I can easily get to sewing it in, which I probably can, I think, if I'm careful. Because actually, as is usual with pockets, it has you do that before you join your pieces together. But I think I could probably get away with it and just pinch a pocket from a jeans pattern or something. So yeah, really like in terms of the fit, the way they fit around the crotch, that's all fine. I made a size medium, and I'll pop the pattern sizes on the screen because I can't remember what they are, and I'm filming on my iPad so I can't look it up. But I made a size medium, and the pattern suggests that unless your waist is bigger than your hips, you can go just off your hip measurement, and mine put me at the top of the size medium. And it says if you fall at the top of a size, you can either size up if you want a baggy fit, or you can size down if you want a more sort of close fit. So I stayed with the size medium, and I don't think I necessarily needed a large, but I maybe, if I'm completely honest, could have done with maybe 0.5 centimetre or so more each side. And certainly in terms of the waist part of the dungarees, which is a little bit narrower, it's not impossible to get it over my hips. I'm wearing them, but it's not that easy, so maybe I needed to just widen it out a little bit. Certainly I think if I made these in a more rigid fabric like a cord or a thicker denim, I might go up to a large. I think that would be easier. But there's a bit in the pattern right at the end where she suggests that if you see here, oops, just falling over, you could narrow that to make the fit a bit less boxy. But if I did that, I wouldn't get them on. So there's no way I'm doing that. But they're fine, and they feel really comfortable once they're on. They're nice and light. and I think they'll be great in kind of warmer weather if we get a summer in the UK. That'd be fantastic. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how they turned out. As I say, size wise, I think once we get over the coronation weekend and the bank holidays and stuff, so I've got the week off work this week, but then I will be going back to behaving myself food wise, and I'm trying to get back into my running. I actually went for a run this morning, yay. Then I might lose, if I can lose say half an inch or so off my hips, then I think these will fit a bit better. And if not, hey ho, I'll just remeasure and make whatever size works for me next time. So yeah, I am very impressed with the pattern for a free pattern. As I say, I think the instructions are really clear. I would probably change up the pockets next time. I didn't really change a lot on the pattern as I was going through. I haven't hemmed the legs because I held the pattern pieces up against me before I cut, and they seemed plenty long enough, so I didn't add anything. But actually once I got them on, the legs are pretty much the right length as they are, so I just overlock round the edge. Hopefully you're seeing pictures of what I'm talking about as I'm talking, but I just hemmed with the overlocker. Just literally went round and overlocked the edge to stop it fraying, and I'm quite happy with that. And you'll see I used my rainbow colour overlocking thread. The other thing I would say is that because you overlock the edges of the pockets before you sew them on, I can actually see little tiny bits of overlocking thread in places when I look down at the pockets. That doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you because you've sort of I top stitched the pockets on, and so occasionally you can just see where I finished the seam. So if that bothers you, make sure that you match your overlocker thread to the colour of your fabric, and don't use a contrasting one like I did. It doesn't bother me at all. I quite like it actually, so that's all good. But yeah, just to mention, I think if I made them again, and I think I will make them again, I would probably lengthen them by about an inch so that I can actually then have a hem on them next time. I think the bodice length is probably pretty much fine as it is. So, and yeah, I might widen them a little bit. And you'll see I've also got I've just put a little label on which says I am unique, because I thought, well, they probably are fairly unique. And I quite like the idea of putting the label on the outside. I don't think I've actually done that before. It's a little Rosy Cheeks label, and I just think it kind of brightens it up. I've got this on with a ready-to-wear t-shirt from, I think, Marks and Spencer. And it's quite a short t-shirt, and actually that also has helped with the fit around the waist and the hips, because when I first tried it on with something that came down over my hips, and that was less comfortable, shall we say. I think I could also, in theory, shorten these straps. I've got them double tied at the moment, and that's helped a bit. It's made them a bit shorter and a bit more manageable. But then again, I think you've got to think about what you're going to wear the dungarees with, because if I was going to wear a thicker sweater and I was making these in a heavier fabric, then I might want the longer ties to go over it, and then you've got the leeway if you need it. So maybe it's better to leave them as is and just double knot them if you need to. It looks fine. In fact, it probably looks better than single knot. Or do I mean triple knot? I double knotted them first time to hold it, and I've knotted them again, so it's probably triple knot. And I think the only other change I made was, because this fabric frays like crazy, I, instead of just folding the loop pieces under to hide the raw edge that you get once you've sewn the piece together and turned it the right way out, I actually pinned them on so that I was happy with the size of the loop, and then I used my overlocker to just tie the pieces together and chop off the excess, because I kind of felt that was going to be a bit neater and it was going to wear a bit better, because, as I say, it really frays. So I was just a bit more it would be unfair to say a bit more careful, but I just made sure of it rather than trying to fold it under and then worrying about it coming apart in the wash or anything like that. In terms of fabric, I think the pattern said that I needed 2 meters, and in fact I probably got this out of about 1.5 meters. So I've got some left over, which is great because I really like the fabric, and it means that I can use it for insides of jeans pockets and things like that. So really pleased with that. I'm just going to have a really quick look. Apologies for looking down. I've got some notes on my phone just to see if I have missed anything, and I don't think I have. I think that's all I wanted to say. But oh yeah, and then in the instructions where it talks about attaching the back ties to the back bib, you'll see that Emily, who is the person behind Life So Savory, suggests that you angle out the tie attachments a bit more, which I did, because she had hers very square and she didn't think it fitted so well. So I'll pop a picture in of mine, and I think that was good advice because they do fit nicely. And I've got really sloping shoulders, and actually these don't slide around, so if they don't slide around on me, that's great, because a lot of things do, including bra straps. It's a nightmare. So yes, I would definitely make it again. I think I can now see it in that batik-y type firework fabric for the summer. I can also see them in maybe some stretch denim or some corduroy. As I say, I'd have to think a bit more about sizing, but I think it'd be fine. So that's it, I think, in terms of that pattern. But yes, I'd definitely make it again. I definitely recommend it. I definitely say go and look at Life So Savory, even if you're not into jumpsuits, dungarees, because she's got a whole host of free patterns, and she also does things like recipes and things, so well worth checking her out. And I will be back soon with another video. I think my next one's going to be around options for the wedding that I'm going to at the end of July, so I'll talk a bit about that in my next video, which hopefully will be out next weekend. And then I've also been buying a bit of fabric. Yes, I know, but my excuse is that some of it is for the wedding and a wearable toile for the wedding. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So I will do a bit of a haul. I bought 1 or 2 of the little bits as well. That'll show you tools and things. So yes, so those are my plans for my next couple of videos. If you've enjoyed this, please do give it a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do think about subscribing if you want to hear more from me. And if you click the little notification bell down below, that will tell you when my videos come up. Thank you to everybody who's subscribed so far, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. So yeah, please do give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this, and please drop me a message in the comments. Do you like wearing jumpsuits, dungarees? Have you made these? Have you made the heydays? Do you think there's much difference between them? What other dungaree patterns could you recommend? Because I really like dungarees. I'd forgotten how much I like wearing dungarees because I haven't had any for ages, but there are going to be more in my life. And this is also great because it also ticks off one of my kind of sewing goals for the year. I said I wanted to make dungarees and jumpsuits, so that's a tick there. And I'll pop a link to that video down below as well in case you're newer to the channel and you haven't seen it. So that's all from me for now. This was meant to be a quick video and it's 20 minutes. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are enjoying the extra bank holiday weekend if you are in the UK, and that you're having a chance to get some sewing done or just generally relaxing and enjoying yourselves. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.